Hey everybody, it's your pal Mike Zombie, and this week we're going to talk about Outpost from 2008, a film I'd never heard of but wish I had of. When I review a film, when I watch that film, I take notes. If I don't like the movie, this thing stinks, it has like 50 lines of notes. This film here has 5, which means I was way too into watching it to bother writing anything down. I'm actually going to stick my notes aside. I like this film a lot, and I think my memory should do pretty good for it. It's modern day in a war-torn, busted-up city in Eastern Europe. The kind you see when you think of Civil War struggle as far as a country goes. The buildings are brick, all pretty much fucked up. Everybody looks hungry. Everybody looks like they're kind of doing the shifty-eyed thing, looking around, trying to figure out where they're going to get their next meal. And there's a bar, and we have a British gentleman who doesn't look that worse for the wear, sitting there discussing something with a guy who's fairly nicely dressed. And the nicely dressed man, nicely dressed considering the people who live there, not necessarily just nicely dressed. He's trying to buy himself soldiers of fortune. He needs a group of men to take him somewhere that's a really hot area, trying to inspect some land. He claims to be working for a real estate group, for a corporate real estate entity, that need him to go and survey some land for the minerals or whatever. We get the feeling right away his story is just complete bullshit, and it is. And he's trying to hire himself soldiers of fortune that are older gentlemen that know their stuff but won't be missed if they die, and certainly won't ask too many questions. So this leader, he's like, yeah, no problem. $6,000 a piece, we'll be in, we'll be out. Well, they negotiate down to 5, and they're told it's going to be a 48-hour trip. All they have to do is walk into this location, let this guy do a survey for a day or whatever, walk him back out, and they don't get paid until they return. And this is it's almost like the United Nations. We've got the British guy, got a redneck who I really didn't like. The American guy, really didn't like him. We have a guy from South Africa, I think a Scottish guy, and a few others, Russian or whatever. And these are all older men. No one's young. These are people, war-hardened men that no one is going to miss. Their guns are decent. It's stuff that's fairly old, but still works. So they drive to the location, a few miles out. And they take off on foot. Now, they know they're walking through an area where local people, the militias, are fighting for control with the government, so it is a hot zone. Aircraft do come over. Aircraft do on occasion drop ordnance down on them, so they're being real careful as they go through. Now, see, where I fucked up is I watched these 2 movies that I'm going to review in a row here. Don't worry about the next one until next week. I watched them out of sequence, and I didn't know it. I accidentally watched Outpost Black Sun, which is part 2 to this. So it kind of fucked me up in terms of when they arrive at this location, I knew it already. I knew it's very, very unique from the outside. And I don't want to fuck this up. This film is 2008, but I still really want you to see it. I'm going to give you a little bit. But you need to see this, and you need to see part 2, and maybe even part 3 coming up. Can you believe I'm actually telling you you're going to have to see a part 3? It's unheard of. It's unheard of for me to tell you to see a part 2, aside from Jaws, but whatever. If you see them in the proper order, this will all still be a moment of discovery for you. Not for me. And I would have liked it more if I'd seen it in the right order. But they show up on a base. And there's it's a bunker is what it is. And they show up top, and they clear it, as the military should. And they're like, well, what the fuck is this? And the guy's like, this is where we need to go. We need to go down inside. So they end up, for most of them, going down inside as Black. It's a base that's been abandoned apparently forever. It's dirty. It's full of cobwebs. Nothing's going on. There's no power. And it's catacombs, and they're working their way down. A couple of weird things happen. First, we find a pile of bodies that are dead, but not rotten. And these guys are emaciated, skinny, and they're all in a weird pile. And it's creepy. This movie is full of a lot of jumps. And I really like that about this film. Because they're coming, yet they still fucking manage to get you anyway. Problem is, well, we wonder who's been there because there's a pile of fresh bodies and they're not rotten. So someone's been in here recently. One of these guys is alive. And they pick him up, and he's this guy with this big scar down his cheek, like down his eye. He got stabbed in the face real good at some point. But it's all healed. It was long ago. He won't speak. He kind of sits there with his eyes just staring off into space. And he's got a weird groove cut into the back of his head. It's like he has like a little divot towards the base of his skull at the bottom. It's noticeable. But he won't speak. And they sit him down and spend a lot of time trying to get him to talk, even forcing him to talk. And he seems like Seems like a zombie, but he's not. He's just not comatose because he can still, I guess, move. If you pull him, he'll walk, but he's very disconnected, almost like he's been lobotomized. They manage to get the power on. The generator gets running. How, we don't know, but it's on, and the place lights up, and it's revealed this is a Nazi base. And there's all kinds of documentation to show that towards the end of the war, the SS came down and shut the place down, and no one walked out alive. And this place does appear as if, honestly, it's been left alone untouched since 1945, which is weird because we have this pile of fresh dead bodies. But there's so much in there that could have been plundered that you're thinking if people had been in here, they would have been taking shit and selling shit. So the gentleman who hired this exposition, turns out his name, I believe, is Hunt. He's desperately searching for something, and he finds it in a room after checking some maps. It's a weird old machine that kind of looks like a cross between a crematorium oven and a tank. I guess. It reminded me of that anyway. And it's all rusted and fucked up and old, and he's like, it's here, it's here. And he pulls out his laptop, and he's immediately sending a text, item found, waiting for instructions. The military guy in charge comes down and is like, well, what the fuck is this? Because you're not being honest with us. We're not here for minerals. What the fuck are you doing? And everything gets kind of spooky, because silently, Nazi soldiers that are dead, I guess, start popping up here and there inside the place, like ghosts. Very, very spooky. They take a guy outside, and they kill him. Oh, and our heroes are pumping round after round out, because outside at night, all the lights turn on. It almost looks like a huge wall, and we clearly see Nazis standing there. They're shadows, and they're just getting pumped full of bullets, but no one's fallen. But they take, in the darkness and the wind, they take one of the militia guys, one of our soldiers of fortune, and kill him brutally. Good kill scene, by the way. And ghosts start to pop up inside. Well, we consider them ghosts because they suddenly appear behind somebody, and the person hears them and turns, and they're gone. And these men that are appearing aren't little tiny guys. These are like 6'2", 6'3", giant menacing Nazis, and they appear to be ghosts or zombies or whatever. It gets revealed that this machine that Hunt has been looking for, has been paid to find, controls the balance of physics. It can alter the fabric of reality. And we're not sure if these Nazis are trying to protect it, because it's explained that that Einstein was working on something similar until he saw the atomic bomb trials, and then he burned his notes. But the Nazis were also working on it and kept going, because the Nazis, of course, had this not only amazing German scientists, but were also involved in the occult and all kinds of other stuff, and trying to make super soldiers. And they find footage of Nazis at this base doing their best to create soldiers that can never die. They're shooting them in the face. They're putting them through treatments. And he believes that somehow, Hunt believes, that these ghosts, these Nazis, are here. And sometimes there's a disturbance in the waves, and they're able to come through and touch us and take us. And this machine might be able to control that and might be able to prevent them. Or might be able to create these things. I'm going to introduce that. They don't talk about that in the first film, but I'm going to introduce that. And they start dying one by one because these Nazis don't want these guys here. Don't want to get too far into ruining this movie. Oh, you know what? I'm going to wrap it up. Fuck it. According to my review, I'm 13 minutes in, and I want you to see this film. So these last few soldiers of fortune have to fight. And this guy that they found, this lanky, weird, alien almost looking guy, he's in some of these old reels of footage from 1945. And as soon as they realize that, the shit hits the fan. Because he's been in this building laying there nearly dead all this time. And he, as we find out, is not so dead. This movie is really, really violent. Really gory. It absolutely hits a home run. I like Nazi zombie films. Love them. In fact, as I'm saying this, I'm looking at my DVD of Shockwaves. That's over on my desk. Was so pleased to find out about Outpost. I definitely suggest watching this film. I'm going to wrap this up on the Berdinsky rating system. Be a buy it, borrow it, or don't bother. This is a buy. I'm going to rate Outpost a buy. Good film. Very good film. Buy for those who are an enthusiast of Nazi zombie horror. Buy for people who like a different look on Soldiers of Fortune. A borrow for most others. Yeah, but this was a good film. That's my review of Outpost from 2008. I'm about to review Outpost 2 Black Sun. It doesn't say 2 on it, or else I would have known that I was watching them out of sequence, but Good movie. Check it out.